Welcome children. Beginning with yet another one of the most important applications of derivatives, that is maxima and minima. Let us understand the terms and let us see how derivatives can help us in solving the questions related to maxima and minima. Now, according to the first definition, if you look at this curve, obviously this curve is corresponding to a quadratic polynomial. And when we look at the curve, we see in this particular stretch, the curve is increasing, and then after this point, it starts dropping, it decreases. So if we just have a look at the curve, we feel at this point, it will attain the maximum value. Now, the definition says if f is a function which is defined in an open interval or in an interval I, then f is said to have maximum value in this interval. If you see, say our interval is from 0 to 20, fine, then f is going to have a maximum value in this interval in case there exists a point c in this interval such that value of the function at c will be greater than equal to value of the function in general for all the values of x belonging to I. So by that it means if we assign different values to x, any point, this one or x coordinate corresponding to this point or this one or wherever, you will see for this particular point the function is achieving the highest value compared to all the values of x in its neighborhood. So if you are able to locate one such point, then we can say that the function can have maximum value. And this number f at c is called maximum value of f, and c is termed as maximum point of maximum value. In the same manner, if you look at this curve, you can easily see as we are moving from left to right, it was first dropping, it was decreasing, and after this particular point, it started increasing. So just by having a glance at the curve, we are able to say that it is achieving some minimum value. Now the definition says f will be having a minimum value in this interval if again you are able to locate a point c in this interval such that value of the function at c is less than equal to fx for all x belonging to I. So if you see, x is going to attain different values according to this curve. So with every different point, its x coordinate is changing. So for all those different values of x, we are able to trace one value of x, which is c, for which the value of the function is smaller compared to rest of the values of x. So in that case, c becomes the point of minimum value and the value of the function at c is the minimum value of f. Now in both the cases, here it is attaining the maximum value, here it is attaining the minimum value. So whenever we are able to locate such point c, then we say the function at c is either having maximum value or minimum value, and this point c is called as extreme point, and these values can be called as extreme values. Extreme can be maximum, it can be minimum. Now see, according to another definition, it says if f is a real valued function and c be an interior point in the domain of f. So c is one possible values of x which belongs to the domain of f. Then c can be termed as local maxima. Now in the previous slide we called it a point of maxima or a point of minimum. We will get a maximum value there or a minimum value there. Now we are terming it as a point of local maxima in case we are able to find a value h which is positive and very small such that value of the function at c is greater than equal to fx for all x belonging to the interval. Which interval? In the neighborhood of x. You can see this is slightly smaller than c, it is slightly greater than c. So it means you take any point on the left neighborhood or on the right neighborhood of c, very close to it. If we are able to show f at c is greater than equal to the value of the function at those points which are in the left and right neighborhood of c. So if you look at this curve, the value of the function on the left of c, if suppose this point is c, then on the left of c the value of the function is less than this. You can see the curve, height of the curve is slightly low compared to the height of curve at this point, even on the right side also. So if you look at all the points on the left of c or on the right of c, okay, at each point fx is smaller than fc. So in that case fc can be termed as local maximum value of f. We will discuss why the term local is used over here. Okay, and c is called local maxima. In the same way, if c is a point for which f at c is coming out to be less than equal to fx for all x belonging to the interval which contains which numbers, which are moving from left neighborhood to right neighborhood of x. So you can look at this part. As we move from the left neighborhood to right neighborhood of this point, say this point is c again. So as we are moving from its left to the right, whatever points you see on the left neighborhood or on the right neighborhood, the value of the function at those points, that is fx, is greater than value of the function at c. So if this is happening, you can quickly make out it is a point of local maxima, and the value of the function at c is called local minimum value. Now why the term local is being used here? You can, if you look at this curve, there are various points of maxima and minima. This is a point of maxima, this is a point of maxima, this is also a point of maxima. So within the given area or within the given vicinity or territory, you can say there are so many maximas. So that is why all are termed as local maxima, because they are the points of maxima in the given locality. In the same way, you can see there are 2 points of local minima in the given locality, means the interval you are talking about or the domain you are talking about. We can have more than 1 point of minima. So local minima, because they belong to the given locality. That is why the term local maxima or minima. Now let us see how this helps us in solving or optimizing, say maximizing or minimizing certain functions. Let us see how derivatives are going to help us in that. Till now we have taken the help of curves only to make out the point of local maxima or minima. Let us see how derivatives are going to help us in locating point of local maxima and minima. So first we go through the first derivative test. It says if f is a function which is defined on an open interval I, and it is also continuous at the critical point C in I. I hope you are aware of the critical point. In an interval, if you are having a critical point, it is that point where the derivative of the function comes out to be 0. Or you can say the tangent, if drawn, comes out to be parallel to the x-axis. Now look at these 3 diagrams. If you look at this, if we simply look at the curve, we can make out this is the point of local maxima. So we will check the nature of derivative as we move from left to right of this point. Now the condition says if f dash x, that means the derivative changes sign from positive to negative as x increases through c. X increases through c means as x moves from left to right. So when x is moving from left to right, if the derivative changes its sign from positive to negative, then you can come to know that C is a point of local maxima. Why the derivative is changing sign from positive to negative? This we have understood in increasing and decreasing function also. You just look at this part of the curve. On this part of the curve, if we will draw tangents, they will be inclined at acute angle with the positive x-axis. And if they are inclined at acute angle, then their slope will be positive. And what is this derivative? This is denoting the slope of the tangent only. So on this side, whatever tangent is made, its slope will be always positive. The another term for slope is gradient. Its gradient will be always positive, or the derivative will be positive. So we know on the left of this point, derivative is positive. But as we move towards the right, you try to draw as many tangents as possible, you will see they will be inclined at obtuse angle with the positive x-axis. Hence, the slope of those tangents comes out to be negative, or you can say the derivative will be negative. So you can very well see about this point when we move from left to right, the sign of derivative will change from positive to negative. That means earlier the curve was increasing and after that point it started decreasing. So it has to be a point of local maxima. So we will quickly check the sign of the derivative on the left and on the right. And if it is changing from positive to negative, we can call it as a point of local maxima without even drawing the curve. Now same holds for local minima. If the derivative is changing sign from negative to positive, as you are moving from left to right through this point C, then C will be a point of local maxima. Again, it can be very well understood through this diagram. Look at this point. If this is the point C, on its left, the tangents have got slope which are negative. That means the derivatives are negative. And on the right, the slope of the tangent will be positive. So what is happening as we are moving from left to right, the derivative is changing its sign from negative to positive. So earlier it was decreasing, the curve was decreasing, and after this point it started increasing. That means the sign changes from left to right as we moved. So we can simply take a point on the left of C and a point on the right of C. We can substitute those points in the derivative and we can check the sign of derivative. If it is changing from negative to positive, the point is point of local minima. So this is how using derivative also points of local maxima or minima can be obtained. Now there is third possibility also. Suppose f dash x does not change its sign as x is increasing through C, then C is neither termed as point of local maxima nor it is termed as point of local minima. Such points are called point of inflection. You just look at this curve. If you see there is a point here, this point is point of inflection. You will see as we move over here when the tangent is being drawn or at this point you can see the derivative will become 0. So on its, when we move from the left to right of this point where the derivative is becoming 0, as it was becoming 0 at these 2 points, at this point of local maxima derivative will be 0. At this point of local minima the derivative will be 0. In the same manner on this curve there is a point where you will see the derivative becomes 0. But when we move from left to right, you can look at the curve. When you will move from left to the right, the nature of the curve is not changing. On the left also it was increasing, on the right also it is increasing. So the sign is not changing. So if we come across such points, they are neither points of local maxima nor points of local minima. These will be termed as point of inflection. Now children, you are aware of the terms point of local maxima and local minima. Once again, let us quickly recall it. You can see these two figures and you can easily make out. In this one, C is the point of local maxima. So corresponding to it, the value of the function will be the local maximum value of the function f. In the same manner, over here C is the point of local minima. So the value of the function corresponding to it, that is fc, will be the local minimum value of f. Now when we have a look at this particular curve, we find it is having more than one local maxima and more than one local minima. Now if I define it within an interval, say this point is A and this point is B on the x-axis. So within this closed interval, if we talk about this curve, then it is possible that maybe this was also a point of local maxima. Maybe the curve was falling after this. In the same manner, maybe the curve was moving up after this point. So even A could have been the point of local minima. So if we look at this very carefully, we are finding more than one local maximas. This can be a point of local maxima. This can be a point of local maxima. And this also can be a point of local maxima. But out of these three local maximas, if you see, this one is giving us the maximum value for the function. So this particular point where you are getting the maximum value for the function is called absolute maxima. It is also termed as global maxima. In the same manner, the point corresponding to which you are getting the minimum value for the function, so this is global maxima. When you look at the curve, there are three possible points of local minima. This could have been the point of local minima, even this one and even this one. But corresponding to this, we will get the minimum value for the function. That is why it is called absolute minima. And absolute minimum value for the function can be obtained here. Here we will get absolute maximum value for the function. This one can also be termed as global minima. Now let us see how second time differentiating a function is going to help us in optimizing a particular function. So before we go through the test, let us understand it from this figure first. You can see there are two curves drawn on this graph. One is a curve for y is equal to sin x, which is done by blue ink, and then another curve is cos x. Let us name, this is actually derivative of sin x. If you see, this is dy over dx. But we can name it as a new function, say, which is u. So u is equal to cos x, which is drawn with red ink. And what is the relation between both? U is a derivative of y with respect to x. Now you can see the points where the first order derivative is becoming 0. If you can recall, in increasing and decreasing function, we located the critical points. So this is the first derivative of y with respect to x, first order derivative. U is the first order derivative. So we'll see, can we obtain critical points? For that, we will be substituting dy over dx is equal to 0. That means cos x is equal to 0. Now, once we put cos x is equal to 0, we get the corresponding values of x, for which it is becoming 0. But from the graph, we can easily see what are the angles x for which cos x becomes 0. So you will find pi by 2 is one value, minus pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, 5 pi by 2, and so on. So at these points where cos x is becoming 0, if we draw a tangent, like you can see at 2 points the tangents are drawn. If you see the tangent at pi by 2, it is inclined at an obtuse angle with the positive x-axis. So what about its slope? Slope of this tangent will be tan alpha, which will come out to be negative because the angle is obtuse. In the same manner, if we look at the angle at which this tangent is inclined with the positive x-axis, we find its slope, which is tan beta, is coming out to be positive. Now let us relate the slope of these tangents to the derivatives of y or to the derivative of u. If you see, slope of the tangent at this angle pi by 2 is actually denoting the derivative of u with respect to x. So if I define du over dx, this is slope of tangent to the curve u is equal to cos x. But actually this du over dx is denoting second order derivative for y is equal to sin x. So it is d square y over dx square. So what we observe here, we find the second order derivative of y with respect to x, which is actually slope of the tangent to this curve, is coming out to be negative at pi by 2. So the critical point where the second order derivative of our given function comes out to be negative, if we see corresponding to that point, actually the curve has attained maximum value. So this can be the point of local maxima for our curve. Let us relate it to the first statement given here, then we will discuss the second part. It says, let f be a function defined on an interval I and c is a point in that interval, and say f is twice differentiable at that point. So this point, which is x is equal to c, will be a point of local maxima if At this point, the first derivative is 0. That means this is a critical point. And the second order derivative at this point is negative. So that is what has happened here. See, pi by 2 is a point where the first order derivative is coming out to be 0. So this is the critical point. And here when the tangent was made, its slope was coming out to be negative. That means the second order derivative of y with respect to x at pi by 2 is coming negative. So this is what we have obtained. Now if that is happening, then this point has to be point of local maxima, and this we can see from the curve as well, because corresponding to this point, if we look at the curve, it is attaining the maximum value. So if you have obtained critical point and at that particular critical point the second order derivative is coming negative, you should understand it is a point of local maxima. Now coming to the second part, in the same manner, if for this critical point the second order derivative comes out to be positive, then it will be a point of local minima. That can also be verified here. You can see this is another critical point, and at this critical point the second order derivative is coming out to be positive. Or you can say at this point when the tangent is drawn, its slope is coming out to be positive. Slope means the second order derivative of y with respect to x. Now when we look at the figure or the graph, we can say you will find corresponding to this critical point, your curve has already attained the minimum value. So see, both the things are verified. So if the critical point, whichever is obtained, if you see the second order derivative is coming out to be positive over there, then you should understand it is a point of local minima. Now same thing can be observed at various critical points if we draw tangents at minus pi by 2 or 5 pi by 2. So let us compile what is being said in the second order derivative test. We will be having a function in term of certain variable. You differentiate it, put the derivative equal to 0 to get the critical points. Then you differentiate the function once more and check the nature of second order derivative at that critical point. If the second order derivative comes out to be negative, that point is point of local maxima. If it comes out to be positive, that point is point of local minima. And corresponding to these points only, your function will either get maximized or it will get minimized. Now it may also happen that we have a critical point but the second order derivative over there is coming 0. Then we cannot proceed with this test. This test fails over there. Then in order to in order to optimize the function, we need to use the first order derivative test only.